Hey, this is Vincent. Just want to give you your video for today. Just want to talk about what a little discussion my friends and I had last night while we were watching the UFC fight, and it was about how they were talking about Anderson Silva being the best of all time, and Joe Rogan was just like kissing his butt the whole time about him being the best ever, pound for pound, best ever, and we were discussing is that even a legitimate title for Anderson Silva for only fighting a certain amount and refusing to fight other folks and stuff. So just my take on that is, first off, I am not a big MMA fan or even historian or know some of the things. I have watched a lot of fights. I've watched fights basically through other people, and my interest is, there's interest in there, but I'm not die-hard fan like I am of basketball. And then I can transition this same topic into what I talked about Jordan versus LeBron a few videos back. So but basically Joe Rogan was saying that pound for pound, Anderson Silva is the best ever. No one can beat him. No one. He's not intimidated by anybody, and he can fight basically anyone at any time. And even last night's telecast, it even promoted that he went up a weight class just because he didn't care about who he was fighting. He could fight at any point, any person, any time. So just my 2 cents on that is, sure, I mean, you can go up weight class, add 10 pounds, 20 pounds to you or whatever. He went, what, I guess 10 pounds from his normal 185 to 205 weight class. Okay, he went from middleweight to light heavyweight. But in a sport, as far as I understand, in the sport before he got all organized with the UFC, it was commonplace to have someone giving up 20 pounds one way or another. One person that I wish that was still around and was fighting at his peak was Fedor. My roommate Prince, he got me onto watching a few Fedor fights when he was fighting K1 and overseas in Japan, and that dude fought easily 20 to 40 pounds heavier than him, and he still was reigning champion for longer than Anderson Silva's been champion in the UFC. So how many defense does Anderson Silva have? I think it's 10, and he's got a 15 win record or some directly in UFC. From my understanding, Fedor was undefeated for years. I think longer than any other fighter that I've known of. I mean, it wasn't until recently that when he refused to fight all UFC, that he lost, and I believe that he was already on the decline anyway. So just imagine being on top for all multiple years, fighting people at least 10 pounds or heavier, because he was in the heavyweight class, heavier than he was, and he definitely gave up inches in size. I believe I saw him fight in Japan one time. I think 7'2" guy, just giant, and he still was able to, I think, submit him or at least take him down. So it's not unusual to see that before UFC was sanctioned. And so to talk about someone being the best of all time, you have to actually include it in the sport now. I mean, this to make this a transition into basketball, it's the same. You can have the same argument. It's a little easier to put players, NBA players together, because it's not like you're going one-on-one. I mean, you could say that, I guess the best analogy would be something like tennis, where you are facing one person against another person. Doubles, it's very similar, but still, it is basically an individual sport. Golf as well, same thing. So it's not about a team aspect, but the the comparison is always there. Who's the best of all time? You know, everyone said Will Chamberlain, then everyone said Oscar Robinson, then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. You know, over time it's always the same. But you know, to say the same thing about tennis, you go from Rod Laver to John McEnroe to Pete Sampras to, you know, Roger Federer now and Rafael Nadal or whoever, Joka Novic, whoever you wanna put in there. But you know, it's all a matter of their approaches. Again, it's like I said with the Jordan versus LeBron, it's the approach that they take. Now, you will never see another LeBron. You will never see another Jordan. You will never see another Anderson Silva. You know, those characteristics are specific to him, and that's what makes him, you know, that much better. That, you know, the charismatic nature of his, you know, how he fights versus, you know, the power that he puts in every punch and the devastating knee kicks that he has and the elbows and, you know, just the cockiness that he brings into the ring. You know, all of that is what makes him unique. You can't say that he is the best because of it, because some people will disagree. He's too cocky. He doesn't fight. He's more showboat than he is, you know, substance. I mean, that's just a matter of opinion. I mean, yes, just watching that fight last night, that was definitely entertaining. I mean, you have to give props that Anderson Silva can take a hit, because he definitely got hit a few times, but the cockiness came out even more because of it. And part of his demeanor, and same thing with, I can see a lot similar approaches to Fedor's game. Well, at least what I've seen on the internet is Fedor came in there not backing down on anybody, not necessarily saying he was cocky, but he went into every fight in any ring not backing down against anybody, even if the opponent was giving more attitude and saying that, you know, this guy's gonna go down, whatever, they're gonna be the first one to beat his ass, whatever, and then all of a sudden, just Fedor just kicks him in the groin, and it was over. Same thing with Anderson Silva. He goes in there not saying that he's not cocky already, which he is. I mean, he is very confident in his skills, but even more so takes it to the next level and saying there's nobody in the world that can stop him. Now, his refusal to fight friends because of that makes him a little bit more human, because he says that he's not going to fight his, you know, comrades and his, you know, the people that he supports. But still, in a sport of one-on-one, if you are in the same weight class, or if, you know, if you're going to be put on a stage where it's your fight versus the fight, you know, you can't say that, because look, Andre Agassi always played Pete Sampras when they were at their peak, and even then, their greatest of friends. You know, I don't know them personally, so I can't say that, you know, they hang out and they're best friends or what have not, but you could tell that they enjoyed playing against each other, because that was the barometer that they put on themselves and saying, you know what, in order to be the best, in order to say that you are the best, you have to fight against the best. Jordan, you know, lived up to that as well, because regardless of who he was playing, it didn't matter who or what team he was playing, he wanted to play the best teams, because he knew, even in his personal life, I mean, part of that gambling situation that he had stemmed because he wanted to be the best. Regardless of who it is, he still has friends out there. I mean, but he wanted to put himself against the best and say, you know what, if I can beat this guy, I am the best. And that's what drove those, I would say, great players. Those are the ones I would put in that category, or even in that discussion of the best players or the best athletes in that sport. So I think certain athletes have that when they perform, and when they, you know, show us that they can step up to the big stage. That's when you can say, or I personally would include them in that conversation of best ever. So, you know, your opinions could be the best if it's all about skill. I mean, sure, LeBron could be the best. I totally agree with that. He's got better skills, you know, stronger, he's bigger, whatever. But does he want to play against the best? Still doesn't, to me, even though he's won the championship, he's got to do it a couple more times. He's got to want to play the best. He's got to want to play Oklahoma City. He's got to want to play the Lakers, Kobe at his, you know, at their prime or at their best. You know, he's got to want to play Celtics and the Big Three and say, you know what, he can beat those three regardless of how they configure their team, you know. Same thing with Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi. They always wanted to play against the best because they wanted to test themselves, make sure that if they were being talked about as being the best, they wanted to prove that what they're talking about is for real, is legit. So I just wanted to give you that little 2 cents and my opinion on being the best. So if you have any comments about that, or tell me who you think is the best in the sport that you like to watch, just put it down below. Leave me a comment, let me know what's going on, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.